Was a night filled with remarks and rebuttals as Governor Whitmer and challenger Tudor Dixon gave their thoughts on a number of issues facing Michiganders right now. Our Josh Berry is live at Oakland University right now, joined by Doug Reardon, who moderated tonight's event. And you guys, of course, had a front row seat to all of the action tonight.
Yeah, and Jamie, Tudor Dixon is returning to this debate stage where she faced the GOP debate that you moderated as well back in August, now facing Governor Gretchen Whitmer. And regarding the issues that are discussed tonight, it's clear cut. We know where these two candidates stand. It's not hard to differentiate these two candidates. But tonight, I feel like we were able to gain some more insight, some nuance into particular issues that voters may not have heard before. And we'll get to some of this in our coverage tonight. But of course, one of the biggest issues, abortion and Proposal 3.
Certainly. And like you said, the beauty of going second, right, and this close to the election is we know where they stand on the big issues. We know what their stances are when it comes to how they feel about Proposition 3. So we were able to get a little specific. And of course, there was no more issue any more potent than Proposal 3 and abortion access here in Michigan. And so, after overturning Roe this spring, the Supreme Court did. States all across the country are grappling with this on their ballots. And indeed, it's on our Michigan ballot here as Proposition 3. So Tudor Dixon, like we said, has made no secret about where she stands on abortion and on Prop 3. She called it radical, claiming that it goes too far in a lot of cases. And of course, Governor Whitmer is fully in favor of codifying abortion access, and she is hoping very fervently that voters will approve this measure. She's also had a lawsuit pending that could codify abortion rights through the courts as well. So we asked them a very simple question. This is such a contentious issue. What happens if things don't go their way? Will you still uphold the will of the voters in the courts? Here's what they said.
There are no laws that I say I think that I'm more powerful than that. I know the governor has gone around laws before and in fact gone around the Constitution and doesn't believe that the governor is beholden to law or Constitution. But I do not feel that way. Absolutely. If this is what the people want, then I will enforce that.
I will always accept the will of the people. I think you're asking a really interesting question, though. When you say, will you accept the will of the people, I think that is a question that should be posed to Mrs. Dixon. She refuses to accept the outcome of the last election. She has not yet said she will accept the outcome of the next election. So when she says she will accept the will of the people, she is an election denier.
And of course, one very contentious part of Proposal 3 is that element dealing with parental consent. They also spoke about that on the debate stage tonight, too.
And this is one of the advantages of us getting to host this debate. We got to talk to these candidates one-on-one immediately following the debate and push these candidates on some of these issues. Because right now, there is a law on the books that requires parental consent for abortions. Whitmer countered Dixon tonight, saying that Proposal 3 does not invalidate that law. But Dixon pushed back to her, suggesting there's room here for interpretation of the clarity of that Proposal 3.
Now, the other side will say all sorts of wild-eyed things that are not true. Parental rights and consent will still be effective. We know that regulations will still be in effect. The simple truth is the way to protect women and ensure that future generations have the same rights we've had for 49 years is by adopting Proposal 3, and I will be a yes vote.
I would say that we've had legal experts that have told us the opposite. It's very fuzzy, and that's why you see the signs that say it's extreme and confusing.
So Proposal 3 is up for interpretation in your eyes?
I believe that it's very clear that that it invalidates all laws on the books.
Okay, and a lot of this we're dealing with hypotheticals. Voters will get to decide, one, on Proposal 3 and who the next governor will be. And of course, we'll also talk to an expert coming up in a little bit to get his insight on Proposal 3 and of course some other issues as well.
As they said, it's very murky, so we do want to get that expert opinion. Another big thing we touched on tonight, of course, Governor Whitmer governed through the COVID pandemic, so we wanted to make sure that we asked about that, and it was very timely too. Of course, the CDC just last week adding the COVID-19 vaccine to their recommended immunization list that is for adults and for children. And we wanted to make very clear, not just to our viewers, but to our candidates too, that was simply a recommendation. This is something the CDC does on an annual basis. And so we asked, would you accept that recommendation as governor and require the COVID-19 vaccine for school attendance? Whitmer and Dixon both saying that they would not require it, but Whitmer saying that the vaccine and her administration's policies save lives, defending her record on that, while Dixon says those policies devastated the economy.
I want you to know that I will never push the COVID-19 vaccine on your children. That is your choice, and it will always be your choice.
I do not support requiring the COVID vaccine for children. But let's talk about COVID. It hit our state hard. It hit this community incredibly hard. We made quick decisions to save lives, and studies show we saved thousands. I am proud of that.
She crushed our economy. 3,000 businesses, 3,000 restaurants died under Gretchen Whitmer and never came back.
So just two of the very important issues that we talked on, I would say certainly two of the biggest. But as we mentioned, this Proposal 3 is really the most potent issue that we touched on tonight. And there's a lot of murky areas, so we are going to talk to a law expert coming up at 10:15, so we'll see everybody then.
Our coverage will continue live here at Oakland University. Until then, Jamie, back to you.
All right, Doug and Josh, thank you. And tonight, reaction is coming in from both sides of the aisle. The Michigan GOP is saying this about the debate. Quote, tonight's debate proved what we already knew about Gretchen Whitmer. She'll say anything and do anything to get reelected, but won't actually follow up on the promises she's made, and her failing campaign continues to hang on by a thread. We will continue exposing her for her failures and hold her accountable for keeping inflation relief from working Michiganders. Tudor Dixon will help turn our state around and bring back prosperity for all. And the chair of the Michigan Democratic Party issued a statement saying, quote, at tonight's final debate of the cycle, DeVos sellout Tudor Dixon played all her greatest hits. She touted her DeVos-backed agenda to decimate our schools, hurled hyper-political attacks in response to questions about her extreme rhetoric, attacked businesses bringing good-paying jobs stateside, tried to paper over her anti-choice crusade to eliminate reproductive rights for millions, and even found the time to cart out new conspiracy theories about the major strides Governor Whitmer has made to fix our damn roads. 2 weeks from now, Michigan families will back Governor Whitmer, the only person on stage tonight who has been in their corner and kept them first.